Hello, I'm Bruce Dickinson, and you're watching the Bruce Dickinson channel. I'm sorry for the low production value of that opening. Every other musician I interviewed insisted on being paid, and that wasn't going to happen, so I had to go with this. Anyway, today we are talking about another business idea that I had that ultimately did not make it to market. So, anyway, back in 61, there were these things called comics or comic books or whatever, and there was this little rinky dink newcomer called Marvel. And I sent them in some character concepts on the back of a bar napkin covered in Dwight Eisenhower's blood, separate story. Anyway, I finally got this back in the mail the other day with a return to sender notice with an incorrect address excuse written all over it. I know they stole this and tried to cover it up. Anyways, snail mail, am I right? I'm getting it now. Yeah, well, to be fair, I have also made lifestyle choices that make me very difficult to track down or get an address on for any extended period of time. Anyway, here are some of the characters I wrote down that are still legible. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them aren't. Right, first off, we have my personal favorite and a semi-autobiographical character, Gunman. He's well, yeah, you could just guess what his powers are from his name alone. But anyways, it's a story about a soldier in the Korean War named Bruce Dickinson. Oh, is that the first time I used? Anyways, war hero Bruce Dickinson went AWOL in the Korean War and just really went off. Like, he went ham. Like, I mean, something really must have snapped. And I mean, he probably should have gone to therapy, but whiskey seemed like a better idea at the time. Anyway, Bruce starts just absolutely doing things he should not have been doing on military installations, you know, bases, war factories, farms that feed soldiers, the homes of soldiers, in retrospect, maybe a couple orphanages for some reason. Oh, yeah. That's because they were the next generation of soldiers that was being proactive. Boy, I was not thinking clearly. Anyway, unlike in real life, the Pentagon notices Bruce's talents and Bad Boy doesn't play by the rules or the Geneva Convention mentality and promotes him to the rank of vigilante, where he becomes gunman. Anyway, I just don't think society was ready for a character as in-depth and morally ambiguous as Gunman was. But I think that, you know, Marvel stole it in the 80s when they finally made the character the Punisher. Anyways, I wouldn't be too mad at the real-life Pentagon guys. I'm not that good at reading maps. So some, if not all, of what I may or may not have been doing in Korea could have been below the 38th parallel. Next up, we have Dr. Rage. In the science lab one day, clinical psychologist Richard Rage discovers the Rage Force, the source of all mankind's rage. And of course, as Dr. Dick Rage is a man of science, he immediately injects the unknown substance into his bloodstream and becomes, for a lack of a better word, enraged. But not only just enraged, super enraged. Super strong, too, and super tough as well. And he uses his newfound rage and power to fight crime and people in bars. The comic mostly focuses on the people who could actually put up a fight against him, because in headcanon, I imagine most people he just runs into become pavement paint. So, you know, clearly they stole this and turned him into Bruce Banner. The parallels here are clear, and they clearly copied this from me. Ooh, I like this one a lot too. It's not quite as good as Gunman, but it's close. Anyways, Heavy Metal. Second-generation Irish immigrant and wealthy New York industrialist Jobert O'Houlihan gets way too drunk even for an Irish and steals a suit of armor and a cavalry lance from the Met. And he uses it to fight crime. He's not very effective at first, mind you, but then he gets even drunker again, and he hijacks a police officer's horse and becomes able to outspeed, overpower, and puncture pedestrians and slow-moving traffic. He's a bit low on the power level compared to some of the other guys, but that just added some stakes to it, because literally any person with a rifle and some armor-piercing ammo can ice him. Yeah, obviously this one got a bit ripped off when they stole this idea and turned him into Iron Man. Clearly these guys are the same. Yeah, this one I think is a bit of a weaker character concept, but a lot of people love what Marvel did with it after they copied it from me, of course. The Spider. So I wanted to expand comics readership into the non-humanoid market by creating a character that was actually not a human and didn't strangely enough look like a human and was able to interbreed with humans for some reason. Like, how would that even be possible? Anyways, so what I created was a sentient spider, hence the name, the Spider. Anyway, like most sentient non-humans, the Spider can be bargained with, and the city of Detroit struck a deal with the Spider that she could devour as many criminals as she could find that were not already taken in by the police, because Detroit's a hellhole and needs all the help it can get. Anyway, I like this character a lot in retrospect, because like every hero now is some goody two-shoes, fight for justice, lame archetype. Sometimes you just need someone that's capable of not only laying down the law with their own discretion, but also capable of laying down their eggs inside of captured perpetrators and hatching them, thus killing the perpetrator, giving them the death penalty. Anyways, the personalities and motives of the Spider and Spider-Man obviously changed, but we can all clearly see some parallels here. Okay, so here's another one that's clearly based off a family member of mine, Captain Protestantism. Clearly based off my grandfather. It's basically just a Protestant wizard who converts non-believers by force. His main nemesis is actually the Pope, if I remember correctly, but I wrote this a long time ago, like before the Nintendo Switch came out, and I didn't get one, and I didn't need to convert to Catholicism for spite and leverage. But now I have changed as a person, I have changed as a Christian, and I have changed as, like, other stuff. But anyways, I've changed, okay? And now I'm a firm believer in consubstantiation, that's how you pronounce it, and the sacrilege, the sacraments. So clearly, this was copied and made into Doctor Strange. No one had ever thought of a wizard as a concept before. Even the people I know who are wizards definitely should have gotten that trademark while I had the chance, but anyways. Alright, and last, and most certainly least, we have Mr. Mutant. Oh, this one right here is the villain to end all villains. This guy had the audacity to be different from birth, and naturally he was shunned for it, as he should be, and he was made a pariah, as is natural. If he wanted to be normal, then why did he choose to be born like this anyway? This cave-dwelling troglodyte will kill children on sight and burn down churches because he's mad at God for making him ugly. He's one of those ultra-level threat guys that prompts all the superhero team-ups that you want to sell more comics. Anyways, his power. He has a lot of it. Huge, massive power level. Like, he's got super strength, super speed, ugly talent appendages, regeneration from death if he gets killed, which will happen a bunch because no one's gonna beat him up and then not want to kill him. Anyways, and if you look at him for more than a minute straight, you turn to stone because he's so freaking ugly. So if people start complaining that someone like Mr. Metal or Gunman is getting too powerful when I'm writing them, I just send this guy in. He'll show up. He will curb stomp the frick out of whoever they think is too powerful. Really show them what's what, the readers, And then every other hero on Earth will show up and remind Mr. Mutant that the surface world is not made for his kind, and he's not welcome here. Yeah, I don't know if they turned this one into the mutants from X-Men, or if they turned it into Undertale. Possibly both. Anyways, folks, if you want to see more of this style of content, just comment down below. If you had to be saved by one of these heroes, who would you want it to be, and why? And remember, there are no wrong answers, but there are bad answers.